and welcome to episode 2 of the Home Base Podcast, the rocket ship where we don't know where it's going, but hopefully it's going somewhere good.
And we are holding our microphones until we get a different kind of setup. I mean, people don't really hold their microphones, do they?
It depends. If you're I was watching a recorded podcast that they recorded on a veranda, and they were definitely holding their microphones.
Oh, well, okay.
And the guy kept doing, and then he would go in and out of the talking.
That's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. But nevertheless, we're going to talk today about how we, during cold and flu season, how we take care of our health in our home, because we are doing everything out of our home.
That's right.
And actually, recently our new nanny came over. She wasn't feeling very well, and she got the full business.
The full experience.
Full experience.
If you come to our house and you're not feeling well, or there's something going on with you, we're not gonna let you get away until we've loaded you up.
I'm looking down to make sure that I'm watching the sound waves on the computer, and mine really spike. Jenna's, they spiked a little bit. Maybe it's just because the tone of my voice. There's nothing, I can't whisper.
No, Damien cannot whisper. He's very loud, and he just has one of those voices that carries. And
yeah, one of my favorite things to do, and Jenna gets annoyed at me. I don't know if one of my favorite things to do. My method is, because my voice cuts through a lot of noise. If we're in like a supermarket and she's across the way, she always gets mad at me, but I don't say Jenna, I just say, hey, and she always turns around. It's like I direct it right her way, so it's not the person over here or here, it's the person right there. That's the one I'm talking to. That's my wife. And every time she turns around, and she always gets upset, but it works every time. So there's a method to the madness. It didn't work. All these years later, I would have stopped.
20 years ago, it used to really bother me.
Also, 20 years ago, if we would go somewhere, granted we didn't have kids, I wouldn't dare do this with the kids in the car. I would get in the car, and then I would just leave. And drive around the parking lot and make her just stand there. I used to do it all the time.
Could you imagine standing there, getting locked out of the car, and just being so furious with your husband or your boyfriend just cracking up?
We were
or he would just lock me out. He wouldn't drive away sometimes. He would just lock me out in the cold, which I hate.
I would just go until she just got mad but not furious. I feel like I knew the line. I knew the line.
Those days are gone.
Maybe they could come back.
They're not coming back. We won't tell them about the other things that you do.
I don't do a lot of those.
You don't do them anymore.
I don't do them anymore. No. There's some things. Actually, I thought about this for one of our topics. A later episode, talking about intimacy. And about how in today's society, there's just everything is out in the open, and there's just some things that should be between a husband and a wife, and these are them. I don't know why you laugh.
There's one thing that I'm thinking of that you used to do that you no longer do. I wouldn't necessarily put it in the category of intimacy.
Well, no.
Although it does sort of fall into that category.
Yeah, now everybody wants to know, but we're not going to tell them.
No, we're not going to tell them. So, immunity.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite move though, one of my favorite moves is when Jenna's just standing there, next to the counter. I pretend I'm in a crowded space, like an airplane. There's not enough space for me to move, so I have to sandwich my body between her, and I have to slide it along, and it's just very crowded. I think it's a good move. I told my friends. They laughed. They thought it was a good move.
I mean, at least we can say that, 20 years later, we still
There's still some things, yeah. That's a newer move. It's only come on the last couple of years.
And then there's other things like when I'm taking a shower and I'm rinsing my hair, my eyes are closed so the soap doesn't get in my eyes, and then he just stands there in front of the shower door, the glass door, and waits until I, jump out of my skin because I don't know he's standing there.
I'm very quiet. But also, I just scare you just walking around the house. I just like walk into a room and you go, oh, and I'm not even doing anything. So maybe you're extra sensitive.
Well, no, I'm one of those people that is always, in
your
some
own
kind
little
of
world.
conversation in my head.
And then you wonder why our children are that way, especially the little one.
You never know what's happening in there.
The little one, last night we went out to dinner and he went underneath the table, but just stuck his hand out over the table where you could see it and was talking with his hand. And, I forget what he was talking. Oh, it was lefty too, because he was using his left hand. This is lefty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wouldn't pick up his markers so we could leave.
Yeah. So he stalls, but sometimes he is really, really funny. And then I don't know what to do. I just hide my face because it's too funny. So immunity, or, helping with this time of the year.
Oh, helping with this time of the year.
So what are the things we can do to have our bodies prepped? Let's start there.
Okay, so should we list some categories and then we can give details?
I don't have any categories in my head, but if you have categories.
They're right here. I wrote them down.
Oh, they're on a sticky note underneath the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I can't read it anyway because, I can't. Jenna doesn't have very good handwriting.
My handwriting is very poor. I thought maybe a child was coming. So categories, we have oils, of course, right? So there are certain protocols that we will share, that we do. Sleep, how much water, vitamins, and we've got bone broth on there.
Mm-hmm. And if you're lucky, maybe we'll give you the recipe.
Well, it's on the blog.
They don't know that the blog exists. I don't know who's listening to this anyway, but if you go to thefireflyrevolution.com and you click on the blog, there is a entry for our bone broth.
Yes, I've been making bone broth.
Okay, and I say our, I really mean hers because I don't make it.
No, I've been making bone broth for 6 years, about. It started with Aston and the need for some gut support for him. But Damien does help because he usually will pick the chicken feet off of the baking sheet because they're so gross. But I do it now.
Well, so we use chicken backs and feet. Mm-hmm. So when we go, we'll get them from Whole Foods. Sometimes they're out, sometimes they're not. So if you ask, they'll if they have them in the back, they'll bring them out. And then we usually get 2 to 3 pounds of each.
Yep.
Bake them up, and then you start with the recipe.
Throw them all in a pot. You can also use, it's any chicken bones, but we don't always make a whole chicken and then save the bones. And even if we did roast a whole chicken and save the bones, it's still not enough to make a whole 8-quart of bone broth.
So I'm assuming when they cut up the chicken there, they just save the backs because it's throwaway stuff. But then people, if you want to use it for soups or bone broth, you can buy them cheaper. And then, you just, it's crazy though, after they get cooked in the Instant Pot, the bones you can just snap with your fingers, they just disintegrate.
Yeah, part of it is because of the apple cider vinegar that helps to extract the bone marrow as well.
It's not all the tons of pressure that it gets cooked in.
Well, I think it's both. Mm-hmm. If you don't put the apple cider vinegar in, the bones don't mush up as much.
How do you know?
Because I've made the mistake.
Oh.
So bone broth is really great to support the immune system because it's very healing to the gut. There's tons of micronutrients in there. There's tons of collagen in there. And so if you have leaky gut, which is one of the things that we surmised our youngest son might be struggling with because of his food allergies when he was little. But also if you have, just inflammation in the gut, it's going to help to heal that up, plug up those holes so it's not
What is leaky gut?
That's not the topic for today.
Well, but you brought it up. Somebody just say, what is leaky gut? You just have to briefly explain what leaky gut is.
Okay, so leaky gut, do you want to explain leaky gut?
No, that's why I'm asking you.
All right, so leaky gut can happen when you have an overgrowth of candida in the body or in the gut. I mean, it could be caused, I think, from other things. I
think it's generally just candida.
Yeah, but gluten can have the same effect as well, and so it can poke holes in the lining of your intestines.
Therefore, leaky gut.
And then when you have those things leaking out into your body, it's gonna cause a whole host of issues, including autoimmune disease. So, especially for myself with Hashimoto's, leaky gut is a big thing. And my gut has always been an issue for me. So bone broth is great for gut health overall. It is great for our son, but we also use it ourselves. We like to drink it. So we go in and out of the habit.
Yeah, there's a guy I go to Bible study with, Brad. He doesn't drink coffee, but some mornings he has a nice hot cup full of bone broth.
Does he?
He buys it at the at the place. Is it Juice Ranch or something?
Yeah.
I think he buys it there.
It doesn't taste good if you buy it. It doesn't taste good at the market. Like, you have to make it yourself. Otherwise, I think it tastes like feet.
The one time we got whatever out of a jar at Whole Foods, it was pretty terrible.
It's bad. But if you make it at home, it tastes really good. And then you throw some extra salt in there and you heat it up. And it's just like drinking soup. So it's really great after you break your fast to have that first nourishing meal of the day or start to your meal. And it's really great when you're sick because it's going to help give you those vitamins and minerals.
Well, yeah, because it's pulling all those nutrients from like deep in the bones.
Yeah.
And then stuff that, essential vitamins and nutrients are very helpful for your immune system and just your body to function optimally.
Right. So, I mean, one of the reasons why people suggest drinking soup when you're sick, this is one of them, but then you're going to get actual healthy benefits when you're making your own.
And then the bone broth we also use as stocks if we have recipes, just in general cooking. We will freeze it in mason jars and then
depending on what we cook, I probably use between like 1 and 4 cups of bone broth a week. Right now we're out because they didn't have any bones at Whole Foods. Nah. So try to keep bones in the freezer on rotation, but I'm not always good about that. And if you go to the blog, though, you'll see my recipe, and it's super simple.
Yeah, I
can't say my recipe is any different than anybody else's, but very, very simple.
But it gets the job done.
Gets the job done, and it's really good, especially if you're sick. So, number 1, drink your bone broth.
I don't know if that's number 1, but that's the first thing we've talked about today.
Okay, number 2, sleep.
That's number 2?
Sure.
Yes, sleep is very important.
Most people don't realize that sleep is like the most important health category. Like, if you have any issues, sleep most of the time fixes it. Like any of the health podcasts that I know you don't listen to, it's all about sleep.
Well, that's when your body recovers and it's not doing all this other stuff, and it's just focused on recovery and healing itself.
Yeah. So don't set the alarm if you're sick. Like, you really should just let your body rest.
Well, and then like obviously some things to do to help you to sleep would be, screen time. Screen time at night when you're going to sleep. If you're scrolling, that just lights up your brain, keeps you awake. That is not a good suggestion. You're supposed to be off the screen. What do they usually suggest? I want to say 2 hours, but I think it's more than that. Before bed.
I mean, I think there's a lot of different times out there, but I think it's at least an hour.
Yeah. It's not like you can't check your phone, but just the full business scrolling.
Or wear your blue light glasses.
Wear your blue light glasses, yeah. It obviously, when you finish eating, that can help, and what you eat. If you have sugar at 10 o'clock at night and try to go to bed at 10:30, it might play a part in you not going to sleep right away.
Right. Well, really, you're supposed to have 3 hours between dinner or your last meal and bed. That's going to help to give you your best sleep. See,
that's what I was getting towards. I knew you would fill it in. See, that was the master plan.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is we'll use calming oils at home, essential oils. Obviously, doTERRA, you have to use a high quality oil because otherwise you're getting total garbage and it's not going to work.
Right.
So lavender would be a good choice. Chamomile.
I like chamomile. I keep it next to my bed on my nightstand, and I just put it under my nose and behind my ears.
Yeah.
And the kids, even if they wake up in the middle of the night, they always wake me up. They never wake Damien up. And they come to my side of the bed because they know the chamomile is there, and then they ask for, Mommy, I need sleepy oil. So usually they say something.
Yeah, Serenity is also a good one. It has lavender, and I think it does have chamomile in it. Some other ones.
It does.
So I say it's like lavender on steroids.
Neroli is great.
Neroli is great, and we
Vetiver
use it.
Is great.
You can put it in diffuser, but just put it in your hand, rubbing it on the back of your neck, and smelling. Embracing or the aroma out of your hand, just basically smelling your hand. It just sounds so weird, like, oh, just smell your hand, but that's what you do, smell your hand. A couple deep breaths of that'll help calm you. And what I love about oils is they work with the body, so it's not that it's going to put you to sleep. It's not like a sleeping pill.
No, it's not going to turn the lights off.
It just calms you.
Yeah.
So during the day, if you're stressed, it'll calm you, but you're not ready to go to sleep, so you're not going to go to sleep. At night, you're ready to go to sleep, calm you down, and you can close your eyes.
But I can't tell you how many times when, like, I can't fall asleep, and then either I haven't put the chamomile on, or Serenity, or lavender, and then I go and I apply it.
And then you go to sleep.
And then I do
it too. I don't want to get out of bed.
That's why it's on my nightstand.
How come it's not on my nightstand?
I do a lot of things for you.
Yeah, one of the things that we do is in our respective drawers in the bathroom, she will replace the facial products.
Right. So, like, have you been using my hydrating cream?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a whole new
container. I realize that now.
It's been in there.
I realize that now.
Weeks. And every morning I wake up and it seems like my hydrating cream is less.
Oh no. Oh no.
You have your own.
But like I always I borrow things from you. You take things of mine. What, like the robe you wear?
I've taken one thing.
There's probably more things you've taken. You just commandeer things, and that's mine. And I just have to deal with it.
Sometimes I wear your pants.
Sometimes you wear my pants.
I haven't done that in a long time. Like shorts, but pants I'll steal sometimes.
Yeah, well, because you're flush with all your worries or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. But only the ones, only the soft ones.
Right.
Those are it's like walking around naked.
Right now.
Yeah, and see, mine are from Target.
Like you don't have your own pair of.
I have one. How many do you have?
I have 3.
See? I just got
2
mine.
more.
I just got mine for Christmas as a gift.
You're so much better than I am. Okay, so next, drink water. Drink lots of water. You need to detox and flush when you're sick. So the recommendation when you're not sick, if you don't know, is drink half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. Most people don't drink enough water.
No, most people don't drink enough water. No, and that's like a conscious thing it's also what else are you drinking? You don't want to be filling yourself with a lot of things that have sugar,
Well, and actually, excuse me, coffee and tea actually don't count. Like it's supposed to be just water.
Yeah.
Clear liquid. Especially when you're sick, though, you've got to have a lot of fluids in there to rinsing your body.
Yeah. You get whatever junk's in there out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then are we moving to what do you want to talk about next?
Well, we've
oils?
got vitamins and oils.
Okay. So let's talk about. You want to leave oils for the end?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about vitamins. What do you want to say about vitamins?
Okay, so most people don't take a multivitamin. That's super important because we cannot get everything from our food that we need. And especially when we're sick, we need more. So we, of course, use doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. We've used it for 11 years. And I feel like we don't get sick as often because we're getting adequate nutrition. In fact, actually, a lot of people with autoimmune disease, they're not getting the nutrients they need. And so by just taking a multivitamin like that, well, ours has omegas and herbs as well, but that alone will help to decrease disease in a lot of people.
Well, if you're not giving your body what it needs, you don't know what's going to happen. So it could be immunity, it could be an emotional thing. There's just a lot of things when you're not getting essential vitamins and nutrients. And it's a really simple thing. Our diets these days, well, if you go to like an average American diet, not like what we're supposed to eat, but what the average person eats, it's deplete of most, vitamins and nutrients and, good stuff, right? It's just most people are eating garbage. And the recommendation would be to eat a better diet, but that's also difficult to do. We're willing to admit that. Some people say that the way things are farmed, it's also taking away some, like if you had wild, fill in the blank, maybe if you had like wild broccoli would be more nutritious than farm broccoli.
Well, yes.
So if you supplement, then that's a way to bridge the gap, even if you are even if you do eat a pretty healthy diet.
Yeah, it's just really hard. Like vitamin D, for example. So I wanted to talk about vitamin D. It's not, or in our doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality, there's a small amount of vitamin D in there, but I was just looking at the RDAs. They're like, for adults, you shouldn't have any more than 4,000 IUs of vitamin D a day, which is not right. So we can't go by what the government says that we should intake in terms of nutrients.
I believe everything the government tells me.
So, for example, an OB that I had seen when I first was diagnosed with Hashimoto's almost 4 years ago, since my birthday is coming. She said once
it's not a big
35,
birthday. It's not a big
it's
birthday.
not a big one, but it's the last. The next one's a big one.
Yeah.
So, she suggested that women over 35 need to be consuming at least 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. So that's, that minimum is far above what the RDA recommendations are. And when you do consume adequate amounts of vitamin D or more vitamin D, then you're less apt to disease. You're going to recover faster. You're not going to get sunburned as much. And so it really is a huge factor in how we recover. So I would highly recommend people increase or look at their vitamin D consumption, especially when they're not feeling well, especially in the winter.
Well, I was going to say winter. Yeah, there's no sun. If you live
Right.
someplace that we live in Southern California, it has been pretty gloomy, rainy winter, thank goodness, right? Somehow there'll still be a problem. We still will be in a drought or something when it's all over.
Yeah.
That's California. But if you're living in a place with snow and it's cold and gloomy and gray for a lot. And so you're definitely not getting the adequate amount of vitamin D.
No.
But even here, we take it.
Oh yeah. And it's a fat soluble vitamin. So you want to either find a vitamin D, one, you want it combined with K2, and then two, you want to find a vitamin D that either already is combined with something, like ours is with coconut oil, or you want to be eating it with fat. And so, for example, not in terms of like sickness, but just vitamin D. So I've been on more of a keto diet, and my vitamin D, I've taken 5,000 IUs for almost 4 years. Like, it's not changed, but my diet changed. And so my last labs, my vitamin D was like at 103. It was way higher than it ever has been before. And so...
Well, what's normal?
Well, if you have an autoimmune disease, like, you want it to be higher. You want it to be like between 70 and 90. Most people are probably well below that. And so my functional practitioner was saying, oh, well, you're eating more fat, so it looks like your body is absorbing
more.
The vitamin D better. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. So, eat some macadamias with your vitamin D.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we did vitamins.
Zinc.
Okay.
Zinc's another good one.
Zinc's another good one, yeah.
Zinc is going to help to fight disease, so you can always throw in an extra zinc for a couple of weeks around the cold season. You don't want too much zinc, but 30 milligrams a day is healthy and good at helping to keep your immune system performing at its best. Can we say that?
I think so. I think zinc in helping you like stay healthy. That's not like a touchy thing.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty general. My mom used to buy me when I was a kid these zinc cough drops. They were terrible. Yeah, because they tasted like metal. So I'd be sick and I'd be sucking on these zinc cough. Oh, it's terrible. It's so. But you got to have your zinc. You know, like oh.
That's gross.
Yeah, it was really. Like we couldn't just get like a capsule to swallow. Done.
She didn't think you could do it. That's why.
You know, she probably saw it on a commercial. My mom really loves like gizmos and gadgets. And if there was some commercial or she saw some news segment about this new cough drop that has zinc in it, she would go out. She'd be like the first one to go out and buy it.
You're kind of like your dad right now. Like we talk about vitamins all the time. And we've been together for 20 years and I've never heard you talk about zinc throat drops.
It's not important.
Pulling stories.
It's not an important part of my childhood. I told you the part where we threw rocks at cars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did that too, but I did it with pop rocks.
Well, that's better. Apparently we caused some guys some damage. You know, the boys will be boys. It wasn't the smartest move.
I do think it was my brother's idea, not mine.
I don't know whose idea it was.
Anyway, okay, oils are last. So, Symphony of the Cells is definitely one of our go-tos for a lot of things, but especially in this winter season.
Maybe we should lay the foundation with oils, and then Symphony of the Cells is like a protocol.
Yeah. What do you want to say about oils?
Well, like, what oils do we use? Why do we use them? We don't know who's listening to this.
How long should this podcast be?
Probably we should wrap it up in the next 5 minutes.
Okay. What favorites do you want to share about?
There are oils out there. Okay, nothing that I'm going to say has ever been is not approved by the FDA or doTERRA. But I'm not going to say anything controversial.
These are opinions of ourselves and ourselves.
Yeah,
only.
we were probably supposed to put that at the beginning.
Not telling you what to do.
Yeah, there are oils that can help. This is
what we do in our home.
Boost your immune system. No,
you can't say boost. It can't take you from one level to another.
Okay, so
it can only support.
That's withdrawn.
What your body is naturally doing.
Okay, there are oils that support your immune system. Yeah, that flies.
Yep.
In our world, if you can only make drug claims if you've been a drug that's been approved by the FDA. So if you're making a drug claim with a product, even if it be natural, that hasn't been approved, and because it hasn't gone through a clinical trial, doesn't mean it works. It just hasn't gone through those things.
Actually, On Guard has gone through, maybe not clinical trials yet, but it is published on PubMed. You can find it. It's called the Protective Blend. And it does show that On Guard helps the body to fight the H1N1 virus better.
It's on PubMed. That's on the PubMed.
It's on PubMed. You can go and you can find it.
Yeah.
And you can read about it. So we use On Guard on a more daily basis. There's also a Abode. That's one of doTERRA's newer oils that falls in the same category as this protection blend. I love Abode, so we diffuse that a ton. I just have it.
On Guard is cinnamon based. That's aroma wise. That's the smell that really comes through.
Right. So
and if you don't like it, Abode, it does have cassia, right? Doesn't Abode have cassia in it?
I don't remember.
But it's just a slightly different configuration of oils that help support the immune system.
Right. Kill germs in the air. I think we can say that. But
I don't know if we can. Yeah, maybe probably.
Kill some germs in the air.
For sure.
Not all of them.
Another oil.
Just 99.9%.
That's bleach.
Anyway.
Doesn't mean that oils can't, but yeah, I don't know where you can get away with printing certain things on bleach bottles. They have all kinds of stuff. You know, on a bleach bottle it says like, this kills COVID. They went right away with that one. Apparently that's totally cool.
Don't put it in your bathtub. Well, that is a protocol for like staff, but I still wouldn't do it. Anyway.
On Guard is a blend.
On Guard.
On Guard is a blend. Melissa would be another go-to. Black pepper. It's kind of like a poor man's Melissa. Lemongrass. What other oils?
Well, so with all of those except black pepper, you should be combining it with some coconut oil because they heat up the body. When oils heat up the body, then, you know, it can make us a little bit sensitive. So, excuse me. Bubble water.
It can, well, yeah, topically, it can burn your skin.
Topically, yeah.
Irritate your skin.
Irritate your skin. So you want to dilute it.
If you're taking it as an internal approach in a capsule, you're probably fine. If you take it like under your tongue, it just might burn for a little bit, but it'll go away.
I don't put hot oils under my tongue, and you should
I put On Guard under my tongue.
Only use doTERRA internally.
Yeah.
doTERRA is the only company that is in the middle of clinical human trials, internal human trials. I think they're internal.
I can't.
Well, Copaiba was.
Was it?
Yeah. So only use doTERRA internally.
Because doTERRA has the strictest testing of any essential oil company in the world. So you're getting the safest because it's the purest, and also with the clinical trials, the purity and the way that doTERRA looks at chemistry within an oil, it can be repeated because they have such strict quality control.
Right.
If you get other oils, and most are, like 99% of them are adulterated, but even so, the chemical composition is different. So
bottle to
bottle, doTERRA has a more consistent approach.
Right.
Some of that is blending, like frankincense. They'll blend a couple different types of, I think 3 or 4 different types of frankincense. And they'll do that to try to get a more consistent but well-rounded, like blending wine. That's what I think of. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a certain varietal of wine, like Cabernet, you just get that expression of Cabernet, right? But it has flaws. If you blend it with other oils, there's a child that's coming through.
Can I eat a orange in the hallway?
Sure. Sorry about that, friend.
This is the life that we live.
It is.
If you have a wine that's a blend, it can the winemaker can kind of make up some of the flaws in maybe a certain wine. Mm-hmm. That's the idea.
Right. So.
I like wine.
I like wine, but it doesn't like me. Actually, I like it less and less because it doesn't like me. My experiences aren't very good with it. But so On Guard, black pepper, lemongrass, Melissa. These are all great oils to use for sure on the bottoms of your feet if you don't want to worry about dilution. You know, during the winter season, once or twice a day. If you're feeling slightly under the weather, you know, reapplying every 3 or 4 hours just to keep them in your body is a really good idea. Mm-hmm. Lemon in your water. You want to detox. You want to flush.
Really cool experiment if you take lemon and you put it on a piece of styrofoam, you watch the styrofoam melt.
Or if you blow up a balloon and you put a drop of lemon on it, it'll pop the balloon.
Yeah, it takes like 5 seconds, so there's a little bit of anticipation that it's not going to work, and then it pops.
Yeah. So yeah, tea tree, you put a little like swipe on the back of your tongue, and that can really help with the occasional irritated feeling in your throat. Yeah.
Well, there's oils like thyme and oregano. Those are really good. I'm not really sure.
I don't think we need to list all the oils because people are going to get really overwhelmed.
But what's great is with oils is we have a variety at home. Being that we sell it, we have all of them at home. But any average person can have them all at home.
All of them at home if we didn't sell them.
What?
We would still
we probably still would. The point is, what's great is that you can have them all at home, and when something happens, you could just immediately go into, like, our nanny came over yesterday. She's new with us. She just started last week. She wasn't feeling well. Jenna got her, she did it's a Symphony of the Cells. It's a oil application protocol on the back. It was the immunity protocol. So she laid down and, you know, she's only been here, like, she doesn't really know us that well, not that intimately, right? And
it's just like getting a massage. It's fine. You
yeah.
put oils on your
But
back.
all of a sudden, here come the oils, just boom, and she walks out, you know, smelling totally different than she walked in.
Well, that's true. We made her a whole little care package so that she would know what to do. Told her what to put in a capsule. You could look it up on our social media. It's called the Flume. I just posted about that recently, putting oils in a capsule to help support the body in its own recovery process. And we're not telling anybody not to go to the doctor, but what we are suggesting is that there are things that we can do at home that, you know, we can reach for immediately. And then if we have to go to that next step, we absolutely can go to the next step. We've just found in our home that when we are using oils, we're using doTERRA and we're using them consistently, and we're using them right away, that it has lessened the amount of time that we have had to leave our house for health-related issues.
Well, and you're prepped, you're ready, and I think they're easy to use.
Mm-hmm. You can't go wrong.
No, and their shelf life is very long. Most oils, if they're kept out of like heat and direct sun, they could outlive you.
Sure.
Most oils. But that being said, like what part of it is like, and I think for everybody watching or listening, is it just makes your life easier. You just have a little more control over things because you can make things more specific based on what's going on. You have some tools at your disposal where you have a little bit of your power back versus like, I'm not feeling good. What do? I just have to, you know, go to the doctor, and maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it's a whole thing, and it's nice to feel a little more in control.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, one of our things is like, what can we do to make people's lives easier, more manageable? You know, we have, there's so much that's out of our control, but we can take just a little bit of it back. It does help to alleviate, you know, some of the stressors in our life, because you're like, I'm prepared for a lot that's going to come my way. Maybe not the big stuff as far as like illness or injury, but that's why we have those other, you know, resources like the doctors, right? Like when I separated my tendon from my labrum, no amount of oils is putting that back.
Not going to fix that.
Doctor for that, doctor, surgeon for that. I've had 2 of those. The first one didn't go so well. In hindsight,
The abscess in your throat.
the abscess.
That's another one. We don't have to tell that story. We don't have to get into it. We've been on for a long time.
We have been on for a long time, but this is our world. This is our world. We get to do what we want to do. We can, you know, Joe Rogan talks for 3 hours.
Can anyone hear the dog scratching at the door trying to get in? No matter what we do, it's either the children or the dog. They're either trying to get in our space or on our body.
Okay, so when we're talking about this being home-based, we filmed the first one. Hopefully this one we can put out there. Just so you know, there's this background, right? It has a bookshelf. We've used it before. It's actually moved walls now. It was on a different wall, now it's on this wall. These chairs don't go here. These chairs go across the room. We are in our bedroom. Just to give everybody a reality, like we're in our bedroom.
We're not professional.
We are not professionals. But this really is what it says. Like, we are doing this out of our home. This isn't like a studio that we've built to do all of this. We're doing it because we want to, and we're giving you like the real, we're giving you like us.
Right.
And I am wearing felt line Crocs. Like that is my footwear today, with my Target pants and my church t-shirt.
Yep. That's true. I'm not as fashionable as you, but I do have my Hokas on.
Oh no, but the lady at the DMV thought you were...
The lady at the DMV, she thought I was, you know...
Very cool.
Really cool.
Just...
She wanted to be my friend.
Like Jenna played in the band. in high school, and she quit after her junior year. She didn't even go the whole way. So how cool could a band person be?
Yeah, and then I had to do dance for a year, and I didn't show up to that final performance either.
She did dance, PE, and then there was like a final performance. They did a few of them, and then there was like one last big one.
It was like a big one with all the classes, and I figured they couldn't see me. I was in the back, so why should I even show up?
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean you're not gonna go? She's like, no, and nobody knew.
I mean, I'm sure I had some anxiety and some issues. I had some issues. We'll just say that.
Well, you weren't confident in your dancing abilities.
Oh, my dancing ability is very poor. It's worse than Damien's, I'm sure. Like, I'm not.
We're pretty close. I might have you beat by a little bit.
So we don't dance, really. We don't dance together.
No. I have a friend. He's a great dancer. But he used to practice in front of the mirror. He doesn't do it anymore, but it's like muscle memory. Like, it's like riding a bike. He still has, good moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have anything to add about the dancing?
No.
Before our wedding, we thought we would take dancing lessons, and we just did like a park and rec thing, right? And I don't think we've ever fought more. I
don't remember it being that bad, but
it was bad.
Really bad for you.
It was really bad. Well, because you could tell me all the things I was doing wrong, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and we didn't end up finishing the class.
We didn't.
I don't think so. I think we ended a class or two early because we were like, let's just be done. Like, this is going nowhere, and we're not getting along.
Probably said, I'm not going back. This is the end. You probably did that. I remember you really hating it, and I remember me saying, no, it'll be good. Let's keep going. But that was a really long time ago, so I don't really remember.
But I do have more ballroom dance experience than you.
Yeah.
So you should have let me lead, because I was in cotillion for 3 or 4 years when I was a kid. My mom made me do that.
I think it was just hard to trust what you were doing because I didn't know all the steps.
That's why you let me lead, because I can do the box step.
And no, we did this in the kitchen the other day. Your steps are too big. I'm just falling. I can't take that big of a step.
Maybe I'm just out of practice. I have to get more in sync with my dance partner.
Then we have to take another class.
No, that's not happening. We don't have time for that.
Anyway.
We're getting some chickens, we think, maybe.
Oh, here we go. That's a whole nother topic. Yes.
But maybe we'll talk about it more later. But
and
we're thinking about it.
We thought
because we're doing anything out of our home, because we have the space to do it.
We have space, and we don't have the money saved to rip up the whole backyard and make it, posh. So we might as well use it for what it is right now, which is just let the kids run crazy and dig holes and play in the mud, and why not have chickens? There's nothing for them to ruin.
So even if it's nice, why not have chickens? Actually, our nanny grew up on a chicken farm for some period of her life, and she's like, we used to feed the chickens whatever we want to grow, because they would just poop it out. So if you want flowers, you just feed them whatever seed, and then they just end up all over the yard.
Our chickens are not going to have full free reign of the yard. But then our other friend said that, chickens will bring cockroaches and rats. So we're in the figuring it out, researching phase. So if anybody out there has any information or tips they would like to give us.
But I think we can't have livestock. The furthest we can go is chickens. Fowl.
Just fowl, no roosters. We don't want roosters.
No.
And
so we could have ducks.
We have
6 is the limit.
Think about, do we want to, hatch them? Because that would be really fun for the kids. That's a whole homeschooling thing, that. Well,
they did it. They do it in kindergarten. They have little chicks, and whoever wants them at the end just take them home.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But then it's going to be a little while before they lay eggs. So do you get a few that are already mature, and then a few little ones?
I don't know. Do they attack them and kill them?
I don't know. we'll see. That's going to be a whole nother
So
homeschooling life adventure. Just because.
Just another thing to take care of.
Just because. That's why I'm wondering if it's something we should.
Well, realistically, you're not going to do it because it's probably, you're going to be like, it's gross, so I'll do it.
No. I'll do some things, but I don't want to have to deal with poop. Like the cleaning of the poop is not my job.
Jenna likes to declare things that aren't her job. I never declare anything, but she declares, that's not my job. That's not my job.
You just quietly move away from the job.
I just ignore it until
Right.
hopefully it gets done.
Right, yeah. We just have a different approach. End result is the same.
It's the same. No, but yeah, for the most part. But I do have jobs. Oh, okay, I take it back. I don't have jobs that I don't do, but I do have things that I don't do. It's all things involving the kids. Daddy doesn't do glitter. Daddy doesn't do gluing, painting, messy stuff. Like whatever, it's a mess. Like Daddy doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Because the second something gets knocked over and it's a real mess, I can't handle it. So I just say, oh, that's mommy's thing. Or the nanny's thing. Yeah.
Usually it's a nanny thing, because I don't really like art either.
All right. That's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap.
All right. Well, I hope everybody's doing well, and we'll see you next time.
Stay well.